Welcome back, everyone, to a new Top 5 Fighters list. Of course, this is Goku-san DBZ. This is the first of an ongoing and off-going series. Of course, I've already done specific top 10 lists and stuff involving overpriced video games. But I thought I'd do small series, of course, bring back Top 5 Fighters lists, and off and on over a period of months, I'll be doing a special Top 5 Fighters, or rather, Top 5 overpriced fighting games. So do some overpriced lists exclusively to fighting games only genre wise. So with that said, and apologize for the delay, I'm trying to get used to this new camera. Hopefully get the hang of and figure out the right tint and everything and angles. With that said, I will show the ones that I do have on this list and just discuss others. So with that said, 2 honorable mentions and then top 5. First of the honorable mentions as of right now, Bloody Roar 3. Of course, basically done by Hudson Soft, and Activision was involved in this game. But on average, the game is starting to go up, and surprisingly, in general, the Bloody Roar franchise as a whole has been going up since it's not really gotten a re-release. Now, especially games like the third and the fourth game, the Bloody Roar 1 and 2 you can get like on the digital shop for the PS3. Unfortunately, I don't believe Bloody Roar 2 and stuff is available on the Vita shop. And of course, not available on the PS4 either, which absolutely sucks. Otherwise, you have to go with physical. But overall, depending on, of course, overall condition and everything, the price ranges for Bloody Roar 3, of course, released on PS2, $40 to $60 now for Bloody Roar 3, which for the longest time, Bloody Roar 3 had been basically the cheapest in the series, and it's now getting to be one of the pricier ones, but still, 40 to 60 gets an honorable mention, not quite high enough to make the top 5. Next is a game I'm sure most people are familiar with, arguably about the top, most expensive of course, the Super Smash series, more or less, unless you have complete unboxed the N64 original. But, of course, for the GameCube, on average, the Melee has been going right now for, on average, $50 to $70 range, which is still very expensive in my opinion, but seems to be staying pretty steady around like the 60-70 range more or less. But it's definitely getting pricey, and I foresee it going up more, but it seems to be staying more steady and not skyrocketing like other games on the GameCube. Now, with that said, coming in first at number 5, from Capcom, of course, a crossover game that did not sell super well here in the West, so it's no surprise that it's been going up as of late. And that's the very unique fighter that's not going to remaster or a re-release on any consoles. It exclusively remains to stay exclusive to the Wii, weirdly enough. It's kind of unusual, a Capcom crossover game that's exclusive to the Wii, but it has to do with a lot of the copyright stuff involving Koei and other companies, of course, who own the rights to Tetsunoku. But it's a very unique and definitely maybe about the most interesting of the crossover games involving Capcom. Very interesting given the roster with like Mega Man Legends version Mega Man as was an interesting version of Roll, and you have characters like Alex as well. But on average, Tetsunoku versus Capcom right now, strangely enough, is trending for $50 to $80 now, which is kind of crazy to think Tetsunoku versus Capcom is running 50 to 80 range now. Now, if you find a factory sealed copy, just a quick note, it is going now for around $200 sealed, believe it or not, which is kind of bonkers to think that Tetsunoku versus Capcom has started going up like 50 to 80 range. Is kind of crazy. Coming at number 4 is another one which is going to be hard to find because of regular consoles. Physical wise, the only regular console release, to my knowledge, For Street Fighter, or rather Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, to my knowledge, to this day, physically remains exclusive to, of course, the Panasonic 3DO, weirdly enough. And really, there's not many fun games on the 3DO, arguably probably the most beloved out of what they got. And arguably one of the big things about this version is because the soundtrack, in my opinion, is the definitive version music-wise. Now, gameplay-wise, I will probably argue for Ultra Street Fighter 4. With that said, on average, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo for the 3DO, on average, is trending for $60 to $80. Now, it actually has not gone up that much in the last couple of years, strangely enough. Because when I saw it back in the past, it was like 40. So it's gone up maybe about 30, on average, it's gone up about 35% to 50% range, which is interesting, but not shooting through the roof like some others. Now, arguably, coming in third place is the original Black Label version of the original Tekken, believe it or not, Tekken 1. Now, I have Tekken 1, but I unfortunately only have the disc, and it's the Greatest Hits version. I'd like to get at least a complete version of the Greatest Hits, but the original Black Label version of Tekken 1, for, of course, exclusive to PS1, on average is now trending for $100 to $130, which is bonkers. The Greatest Hits version, you're looking at $30 to $40. So you're going to like triple the price for the original Black Label version. Now keep in mind, or double to triple, but that's because it's a lot more hard to find like an original Black Label version complete in box. So yeah, like 100, 130 is blew my mind when I saw, because really none of the other Tekken games have really gone up a lot in value. Outside of maybe the HD release of course, Tekken Tag Tournament, Tekken Hybrid. Outside of that, Tekken 1 is arguably the most expensive to collect in the series. Coming in at number 2 is another one that I currently don't have. I have like the re-release or remastered one that was released, of course, by Limited Run Games. But coming in at number 2 is of the Fatal Fury series, arguably one of the top 3 most expensive Fatal Fury games. And that is, of course, coming at number 2, released exclusively to the Dreamcast. And that is, of course, SNK's Fatal Fury Mark of the Wolves, which arguably probably has the best design of Terry Beauregard, in my opinion, anyways. But animation-wise, the music is superb. I think it's easily one of the best-looking 2D games done by Arc System Works, or SNK, don't kill me. But with that said, arguably one of the best-looking 2D fighters of all time, in my opinion. But very pricey, to say the least. With that said, coming in at number 1, which has really been going up, exclusive to the PS1. Coming at number 1 is Rival Schools, of course, from Capcom. Very interesting 2.5D fighter. Very unique, very different for the time when it was released. And expect sometime in the future on one of these lists, of course, the sequel to be on. But on average, now, Rival Schools on average, depending on condition and everything, it can run you anywhere from like 180 to 240 now, which is blows my mind that it's gone up that much. Like, Rival Schools has really skyrocketed in the last 2 to 3 years. Seriously, because back about 6 years ago when I finally got my hands on Rival Schools, it was way less than it's going for now, which is kind of crazy. Then again, it's because the crack is one of the other reasons I got cheaper. But keep in mind, that means obviously this isn't worth as much because of the crack. But other than that, it is kind of crazy that Capcom will dominate most of these lists. For some reason, Capcom fighters just go through the roof in value over time, or it's just become games that specifically collectors want. Basically, between Capcom and SNK dominate a lot of these types of overpriced lists, in my opinion, because both have very hardcore fan bases. when it comes to Fine Game fans. Speaking as a longtime Fine Game fan, yeah, I understand quite well. Sort of like how Square with their RPGs are the main thing that go through the roof for them. With that said, that is the first of an ongoing off again, of course, overpriced top 5 fighters list. So hopefully you enjoyed the first one. And tell me what your thoughts are on some of these prices and these specific games. Are any of these games kind of a surprise to you that how they've been going up? But with that said, I'll see y'all next time. Stay safe, and hopefully enjoyed the music in the background from, of course, Mirror's Edge Catalyst. See you soon.